Hello, PA Virtual families, students, parents, and learning coaches. We wanted to make you a video with testing season coming up for both the PSSAs and the Keystone exams. There are a few tips and tricks that we'd like to pass along to you to keep in your toolbox as you prepare for this upcoming testing season. Parents, this first tip is for you. Leading up to the Keystone or PSSA exams, it's important to establish a healthy sleep routine for your students. So, instead of having screen time or television or something that's stimulating to the brain, get your student used to having a full 8 hours of sleep, and perhaps they could wind down with a book or some calming music the night before. Now on to the mornings. Parents, it's important that your students have a healthy breakfast every morning, but especially on testing mornings. Please make sure that you pack a non-peanut product lunch for your student for each testing day. Because it is important that our students are not hungry as they're taking the test. It does tend to have an effect. It is really important that you bring something that you enjoy reading to the exam site for when you turn your test booklet in. So you have something to do while the rest of the room is finishing up the exams. You want to make sure that you leave a little earlier than usual to allow time to get to the testing site and be there on time. When a student is feeling rushed, oftentimes that will transfer into a not so great testing environment for the student. So these are things that our parents can do to help ensure a good testing experience for our students. When it comes to clothing, comfortable is key. You want to make sure that you are selecting clothing for testing day that is comfortable and weather appropriate. Think about wearing layers. In the buildings themselves at the testing sites, we're not always sure how it's going to feel there. So make sure you wear things that you can take off if it becomes too warm or can put back on if it becomes chilly. Students, maintaining a positive mindset is really important before you move into the testing area. Please make sure that you know that we're all there to support you. We encourage deep breathing exercises and some mindfulness before students arrive at the testing site, and even remind your students that they can deep breathe wherever they are sitting at their testing area in order to become calm again. Sometimes thinking about your favorite things helps. I know that when I get nervous, I think about my dog Buddy and how cute he is, and that sometimes calms me down. Everyone takes these tests at their own speed and in their own time. It is an untimed test, and we want you to slow down and do your best answering every question on that exam. You want to pace yourselves. If there's a question that stumps you, we don't want you to spend a lot of time trying to answer that one question. We want you to skip it, maybe make a note to yourself on your scrap paper that you skipped that one, and then you can come back to it later. Working through the problems that are more familiar to you also gives you a little bit of a confidence boost as you're working through the exam. It is an untimed test, so even if you have to make an educated guess, absolutely answer every question on the test. Please make sure that you read the prompt very carefully. One of the things that the test is determining is, can this student accurately respond to the task at hand? So it's so important that you understand exactly what the test is asking you to do. We encourage you to take notes and underline things in the test booklet so that you are very sure to answer exactly what they're asking. When your test administrator is reading the directions to you, really pay attention. They're going to provide you with the scoring guidelines or the rubrics for the written portions. Make sure you look at those rubrics and keep them in mind when constructing your written responses and really understanding what it is the test is asking you to respond to is going to be key for doing your best on the written portions. We want to encourage you to also use the scrap paper that is going to be available to you for all of the testing sessions. Especially for the math portion, you're going to be expected to explain your answer. Even if you don't know the right answer, it's going to benefit you to be able to explain how you got the answer you did, and maybe you'll get a few points for the effort that you put into it. You'll also want to use your scrap paper to make either an outline or a quick draft of your written responses. Doing so will allow you to catch any inaccuracies in content before you transfer it into your test booklet. Double check to make sure that you are bubbling in the correct section of the test. You can't work ahead and you can't go back once you've finished a section. But what you can do is to make sure that your numbers in your answer booklet match up to the answers in your test booklet to ensure that you are putting all of your bubbled answers in the correct section. It's important to fill in completely and not make any stray marks. There is a scanner that reads your test booklets, and any stray marks may be an issue for the scanner. Lastly, take a few minutes to review your answers before you let your test administrator know that you're finished. And just make sure that all of your bubbles are bubbled in correctly, that there are no stray marks in your booklet, and that you have completed the exam to the stop sign. With these tips, you'll be sure to tackle the Keystone exams or the PSSA exams and rock this year's testing season.
We're gonna rock the PSSA. We're gonna rock the PSSA. You get to see some friends, get to challenge yourself. Take your time, you will do well. You're gonna